just doing some prep work, at least, for my other series. Even though it's going to be some time before I get started, I at least want to have the bare bones of it up. So we're going to now do maps, locations, outlines. We're going to duplicate this one. Oh, I totally had to do it like that. Let's make sure it's centered. Go downstairs in a couple hours and get myself something to eat, 'cause I'm hungry. Is it location or locations? It's locations. Perfect. Now instead of the trials, where I think I'm gonna put is pirate life. Is it pirate life? Actually, I know what I'm gonna do. I think now I need to do Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, right? Or think I'm gonna do it a bit differently. And technically, I'm not even gonna call it a vomit draft. I'm gonna call it a vomit draft. Let's be real. Let's see exactly what I'm gonna call it, because that's almost basically what it is. Okay. Alright, so we're gonna put 6, 2 rows of 3, and then the drafts. Yeah. It's gonna look slightly different. back downstairs. Okay. Okay. I'm going to be eating some strawberries, so I'm going to go off camera while I do that. Oh, what is happening? Okay. Oh. And I will likely turn off my sound so you don't hear me smack-a-leckin'. Okay, I'm kind of done eating strawberries right now. Did I do heading 1? I might have done heading 1. And I think I may have put a spacer in here of like either 20 or 30. Let's start with 20, and let me just open this again. Ooh. Move this down here, so side by side. Yep, I was right. Research world building. I clearly put a space in between. Ow, that was painful. Okay, let's just take a moment, because that was painful. Okay. That was painful. Oh, like my body is still healing from the procedure, and so anything I do that causes strain on either my stomach or my rib cage in general, it's just like painful. So sneezing is the worst. Okay, I'm gonna just take a moment there because that was painful. Okay, so now I want to add another. I think I want to add another one of these under it, and then I'm going to add columns, and I'm going to add 3 equal columns as it shows here, and now I'm going to start adding these emojis. Oh, a raid! Did that just happen? I just happened to like say, let me just peek at my chat window that I have not looked at in a minute, and then I just saw this all pop up. Hello and welcome to my channel. I am loading up all sorts of good information related to writing on my website because I feel like my website is the key to everything that I do. Whenever anyone asks me, where's the best place to find you, I know some people will give their social media. They'll say I'm on Twitter or I'm on Instagram or I'm on Facebook. I'm on all those things, but I prefer to just direct them to my website because literally that's where they can find everything they could possibly want. It's going really well, actually. I am working on inputting some stuff that's like for patrons only, but again, it's on my website, which I love as well because anyone who comes to my website, and they see for patrons and they click somewhere, they'll click on this and anyone can see this. This is a public page, so everyone can get this far. To go deeper into this information, then you'd have to be a patron. And my website is set up that way, so you can see this is the book that I'm working on right now. Here's all the research that I've done for it. Eventually, when I start writing chapters within each act, I will then put those chapters in here so that a patron will get to read my vomit draft. They're going to get to read the first draft that I work on. After my vomit draft, I'm going to start asking for beta readers. So there will then be a beta draft, and then there's going to be a final draft. And every single draft will be here. When I get to the final draft, again, my patrons will get to download the actual EPUB file so that they can read it on, whatever they want. And I'm just putting all of that here. And what happens is, what I'm hoping is a person will come to my site, they'll see this, and they'll say, oh, let's look at, what characters she has created in this story. Now, if you're a patron, when you come in here, you're going to see this right away. You'll see all of this information. But if you're not, and the reason why it's showing it for me is because you can see down here it says, because I'm an administrator, I'm actually signed into my site. But if I wasn't and you were just looking here, you would get met with a long message that basically says, be a patron and you will get access to this and a whole bunch of like other stuff. So it's all filled in for Son of River. So all of these things, they say updated because I've officially updated them completely. And so now I'm literally working on doing something similar with the Fifth Compass series, where it's going to have its own page and it's going to have specific areas that will be covered. Some will be the same as the other one, like there will be characters sheets here. There will be specific creatures that are unique to this series that you won't see in the other series, etc. So I'm just basically creating the base page. But this information won't actually get filled in for quite some time. So I'm just building the base page. I'm not actually putting in any real information here because I have none to put. The only thing I do have to put, and I will, is I'm going to drop the books because I've written 2.5. So all 2.5 books and the 3 novellas that I wrote for this series will be put here so that patrons can come here and read all of that, download the ebook, all that stuff. But something else that I worked on, which I'm really proud about yesterday, off stream, although I know I probably should have done it on stream, but I actually don't like dark mode. Can I just say that? I actually prefer to see Scrivener like this. I know everyone loves dark mode and it's like dark mode is the in thing, but for me, I find dark mode actually to be to hurt my eyes. So but I had it on dark mode last night because my screen was really bright, so I felt I needed it. But anyway, so what I did last night is I went into my vomit draft and I actually entered my target word count. So that way, and I did it for every single chapter so that way I can go in and just start writing. And so I put what my target word count is for each chapter, which is 3,000 words. And then I put basically I don't want to write anything less than 2,500 words, so that's my minimum. And then I'm allowing myself a buffer of 250 words. So that means if I go over 3,000 by 250 words, then I'll be okay with that. But if I go beyond that, basically Scrivener will alert me to that and will let me know, like, hey, you just went, beyond what you wanted to do. So I set all of that up for, all the chapters. So right here you can see in the target column it says 3,000. The progress column is next to it. I also updated my statuses for everything, so they're to do, and I also updated what's going to be in the compile, which I have to do more research because I'm sure there was a shortcut for how I could do this. I could not find it, so I ended up having to do it manually, which was frustrating. But within each chapter, I'm likely going to have notes. And what I'm going to do, this is a new feature that I'm doing for myself when I start writing, which I've never done before, is when I do my first, my second edit, because my first edit is just looking for grammar and punctuation, spelling, stuff like that. My second run through, before I even give it to the beta readers, I will read through it twice. So the second one will be me looking for structural issues, pacing issues, areas where I need to either beef it up or chop it down, things like that. So when I do the full read through again, I'm going to make notes, and each major note will get its own sheet. But I don't want this to be what I export when I compile the thing. So I have this, there's a column for include and compile. So I manually unchecked all of the, and I each one has a base of just 2 notes. Some might have 1 note, some might have 5 notes. I don't want to put all of the notes in one sheet because I don't want to overwhelm myself to say, oh my god, look at everything I have to do. I'd rather do it one sheet at a time and say, okay, I'm going to do this one, knock it off, and then once it's done, I will just change. I will have a color coding system that's specific to the notes that won't interfere with the actual chapter itself, so that when I hit the compile button, because I'm learning how to do this thing, and I come over here, you'll see that automatically the things that I don't want compiled are already unchecked. So all of the notes are unchecked. And the only things that are checked off are the chapters. I also had to fix how to make it so that it would actually pull the chapter title as opposed to having the chapter number. I had to figure out how to do that, which I did. I did a test actually, and where is it? It's right here. This only is going to show chapter heading, so it's not going to be much. But using that compile that I just showed you right there, I have it so that, what is it doing? So that basically each page will start with, the chapter heading as opposed to it saying chapter 1, chapter 2, whatever the case may be. I also fixed, the front page. So this is what I would basically export when I do my compile for the print book version of this book. It'll be like this, but it'll have more front matter and back matter. Obviously, this is just for my own thing, just so that I could check that all the chapters were going to come out with the chapter heading and on its own page and 14 spaces down, which is how I configured it. And I also, what I'm going to do, either this week or next week, is I'm going to export the first 2 books of the Fifth Compass. So here's the Fifth Compass book 2. It's 347 pages. So when I have it printed, I'm going to have it printed by Office Depot, and they're going to send it to me using a wire binding. It'll be like 170 something pages, so it won't be that fat. But yeah, so I'm gonna have this printed out just so that I can have a copy of what the draft is. I don't know if I'm gonna use it for editing purposes when I do the rewrite, only because I'm doing a page 1 rewrite, and it might be a waste of time for me to even do that when I already know that I'm going to redo the outline and everything, but I'm not even too concerned about that. Really, where I'm going to begin is here, writing, these chapters, and I'm excited about that. So basically, that's in a nutshell how it's going, to answer your question. So let me just get back to what I was doing here, which is. But anyway, thank you to everyone who came here. Thank you for the host, Kindar. I don't typically stream on Thursdays, but with my job, and the reason is because my job on Thursday is actually very stressful, but this time was actually, knock on wood, fairly easy because, well, I won't go into why it was fairly easy, but it just was. So because of that, I was done at 9:30, so I figured, I could just jump on and do a couple of things that I was going to do anyway, just off stream. Okay. So I'll hang out here for a bit until I get hungry, and then I'll likely just go downstairs, get some lunch. Oh, sweet. All of my favorite people are on right now. I just want to change all these to be full size. And these are eventually going to have links to them. I haven't created the pages yet to link them yet. But anywho, I'm going to now duplicate this. First align to the middle, duplicate, and then I'm going to replace. I should have done upload file. That's fine. I will replace it with. Let's do maps, locations, and then outlines last. I hope your writing stream went well. I feel like we all stream about the same time, so it makes it difficult for me to go to your stream because I'm in the middle of streaming. So like that. I wonder if I need to be doing this as well. And then I'm going to need to jump back and do that with the other ones. Upload. Locations. So align that centered. Have a good rest of your Thursday. I am relegated to taking it easy, and therefore that is what I am doing. And now let's upload outlines. Just aligning all of these to the center. Okay. Actually, you know what? Instead of doing it that way, let's do it this way. Oh, I just realized something. I made a mistake. I forgot that I need to do tabs. And I think I'm gonna go with this one. This one looks kind of cool. And I want to do, what is the thing about adding a subtitle? Here we go. Was it in all caps? I can't remember. Text and book one. Oh, book one. To forest. Book two. Marian. Book three. This is how I'm able to remember things, by staying on my toes. And then we've got think I like this one better because this one isn't really... I wish there was a way for me to change it back to... I'll just start over again. And stick to what I know, which is this one. Okay. And let's put the subtitles back. Center it. And let's go. So first one is next then. Yeah, I was afraid of that. I think I might split this into 2 sets of 3 because I don't want it to go to the next line. Let me just see what that looks like. Maybe it's just looking like it's going to the next line for me, but it won't actually do that. Yeah, it might not actually go to the next line if I keep it. So let's do it. Let's see what happens. I don't actually have a title for this one, so it might be a bit deceiving, but let's give it a whirl. Okay, yeah, I think we'll be good. I think so. Let's come back here to the first one, and so from here is where we're going to do well, first of all, this is going to be called the drafts, and then what do I want to do? Do I want to add a columns? I believe so. I'm going to add 3 columns, and then in the middle is where I'm going to put the image that I was going to put before. It might actually already be in my media library. Let's see if it was able to upload before I deleted it. It was. Okay. Alright, so let's align center, full size, and let's update this page fully. Okay, so I won't do it now, but what I am going to do is, so this is going to not have anything in there because I didn't do it yet, but this will be here for the time being. I'm going to create, eventually I'll create pages, so when you click on these squares, it'll take you to these different things, and later on, when I'm able to, I am going to take I am I'm basically going to take this. This is Daxton, which is 380 pages. And I'm just going to copy and paste each chapter into the thing and into here. And then that way someone can come in here, click this, and they will have access to all of the chapters. I'm not going to give it as a full PDF or as an EPUB because, like I said, this is just basically what it looked like in 2019 when I released it. But I am going to do a full overhaul of this series, so I don't want to give a copy of the book in a form that is no longer available to people at this present time. So yeah. Okay, now that I have done all of these things, what is next? Let me come back here for a second. Everything looks good there. I'm going to pin my website again. Hold on 1 second, I have to do something. Here we go. Seriously. Oh my god, you already did that, but sure. second. I see a question there that I want to answer. If you write under E.L. Drayton, why haven't you changed your channel name? Well, multiple reasons. One, I only started writing under E.L. Drayton a couple years ago. And I'm known as Erica Drayton literally on all my social media for the last, like, I don't know, decade and a half. Um, and I don't think it's necessary for me to have E.L. Drayton as my channel name to match up with my, like, author name. Um, and then the other reason is eventually I am going to stop using Twitch and stop streaming on Twitch. So I'd rather keep the name that everyone knows me as when I'm in the chat of other channels. That I'm still going to be present and, like, visiting other channels that I love to watch who stream on Twitch. But I'm actually going to stop streaming on Twitch on June 30th. That's going to be my official last day of streaming on this service. And I'm going to be using YouTube moving forward. And I'm only going to be streaming live on YouTube. And on YouTube, I am there as E.L. Drayton. What's my name on YouTube? Oh, I'm not good at this. Hold on one second. Let me check. I am Storytelling with E.L. Drayton. That's my, so that's another reason, like, the place where I'm going to be streaming, which I'm currently, like, right now, you can go there and see that I'm streaming live, because I stream in both places at the moment. So yeah, so that's why, you know, on Twitch, or not Twitch, on Twitter, I'm at Erica Drayton. On Instagram, I'm also at Erica Drayton. On Facebook, it's, you know, / Erica Drayton. The reason that I use E.L. Drayton actually has to do with my URL. It has really nothing to do with a choice. I would prefer to write under Erica Drayton, but the issue is I don't own the URL ericadrayton.com. And that's my own fault, because back in high school, many years ago, when I did own ericadrayton.com, I didn't realize the value of owning your own .com URL, so I let it lapse, and I didn't care about it for, like, a good 5-10 years, until lo and behold, I decided, oh, I want to be a writer full time. I want to do this thing. I want to build my author platform. Let me go purchase ericadrayton.com. And what happens, you know, some mythical entity comes and swoops in and buys all of these URLs and then puts them up for sale for hundreds or thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars that you have to pay in order to get your thing back. I was not going to do that. I think last time I checked, they wanted like $689 or some stupid shit. And I was like, hell no. So I decided I'm just going to write under eldrayton.com, EL Drayton, and I was able to purchase eldrayton.com. And honestly, that's the reason why I write under that, because I would prefer to have written under Erica Drayton. But I didn't want to write under Erica Drayton and then people assuming, oh, let me look for her website, they would go looking at ericadrayton.com and they wouldn't find me, right? So that's the real reason why I use it. Otherwise, I'm Erica Drayton everywhere, and I don't see the need to change it just cause. But yeah, so if you ever have your URL, hold on to it dearly. But hold on, I have to write the sentence I was in the middle of. I mean, it's unfortunate, but at the same time, I actually like writing under E.L. Drayton. It means a lot to me to be able to write under that. There's a long family history behind it, so it was almost like it was meant to be. Like, that's why that happened, to force me to use eldrayton.com, and actually realize that that was the best decision I probably could have ever made, to write under that name. And it also opened the door for me to be able to write under Erica L. Parker Drayton when I start writing mysteries, which will be far and away different from the fantasy series and that whole area that I'm writing under with eldrayton.com. So, or with El Drayton as my author name, because I am going to eventually have two different, completely different types of genres that I will be writing. Once writing becomes a full-time thing for me, I have an entire mystery series which is not fantasy based whatsoever, and then I have Stonehaven, which is, and I don't want to use the same author name in each instance. I'm going to do my mystery series under my full legal married name, and then keep E.L. Drayton for my fantasy series. Let me go back here. I have to open my texting now. Jeez. Sorry, I have to schedule a call with my tax person because May 17th is around the corner. So I have put this off for far too long. My wife and I have to do our taxes. It's very complicated this year because I'm a first-time homeowner. She's officially making enough money to be self-employed. It's a whole big thing. And I just want to make sure that we don't dot the wrong I or cross the wrong T. Wednesday the 12th. Oh dear. Let me check what my work schedule looks like. Oh, let's not put that window over here. Sorry, don't look at that. That's work stuff. Calendar. I have too many windows open. I can tell you this right now. Okay, at the moment I don't have anything scheduled for Wednesday the 12th. Okay, time. Let me put that. Uh, 10 a.m. Processing your info. Let me take a screenshot of this and send it on its merry way. Oh boy. Okay. Let's see. I like when authors write under. Hold on. Let me just close this. Got too many things open. Right under the same name shows their versatility. Think of Brandon Sanderson. He writes fantasy, sci-fi, adult, YA, and middle grade. Yes, I know. And again, there is family history and reason why I want to write under the two different names. So it's not like I'm trying to hide anything, because it's not like I'm writing, BDSM porn fiction versus young adults. And so yes, I'd want them to be completely and totally different, because I don't want someone looking for YA accidentally crossing over my, strapless, backless, nude man. That's not the reason why, because that's usually why people write under two different names, right? Because they don't want you, if they do fitness, they don't want you looking for their fitness book and you come across their like sci-fi series and they're like, oh, this isn't the person I'm looking for. um I cannot type on my phone anymore for some reason. Okay, hopefully I can get back to what I was doing. Okay, so you had asked me a question before, why the platform changed. Lots of YouTubers stream on Twitch. My reasoning is because I am having an issue with Twitch, to put it mildly. I don't agree with their Twitch affiliate program policy, and um, due to the fact that I have not gotten a satisfactory resolution with them in regards to their Twitch affiliate policy, I am making the decision to no longer stream on Twitch. I realize that there are a lot of writers who are, YouTube personalities, author tubers. Um, hold on one second. I am not gonna get done what I need to get done because I'm. Yeah, and I've been watching a lot of them. Eventually, my goal is to have two separate channels. Oh my God, hold on one sec. I'm gonna kill my wife. She is driving me nuts. I'm trying to figure out how to get her to stop texting me. Okay, so sorry about that. Eventually I'm gonna have two separate channels. So this one, storytelling with E.L. Drayton, is gonna be the one where I'll be streaming live to, and then I have another channel which I haven't really done anything with, although I do have a few subscribers there, strangely enough. Um, that is going to be wait, did I go to the wrong? Oh no, I went to the right one. I just need to go to the actual channel. That is story writing with E.L. Drayton, and this one is where I'm actually going to have tutorials and things where, like, most author tubers will give you their opinions and their thoughts on, and they'll give you tips and tricks and all of these things about how to write, and just their comparing things and stuff like that. I'm gonna have a channel that's gonna be dedicated to that. Um, and I'm keeping them separate because I've been doing a lot of research about growing a YouTube channel and having a YouTube community. And one of the things that can, piss off a lot of subscribers is if they're going to you to find tips and tricks and tools and things like that, meaning a video that you're going to upload, once a week, the same day, same time every week. The last thing you want to do is annoy them if you want them to have their notifications up to receive those videos, is to annoy them if you're going to be streaming live every day. Because they're going to be thinking, oh, she's got a new video where she's going to show me how to do something or whatever, and it turns out it's just me writing like I normally would on a Twitch stream, right? So I'm keeping them separate. So there's going to be the one area where people who just want to hang out with me while I do sprints and things like that can go and subscribe to me on this channel, and then there's going to be another one where if you want to know things about oh no, I'm promoting both channels. I'm just not promoting the other one yet because I literally have 0 videos. I have not recorded, I have not scripted, I have not done anything whatsoever for the other channel. So to me, I don't even need to or care to promote that one. You can easily find it if you were subscribed to the one where I stream live, because that's the only YouTube channel that I recommend if you scroll down on my main channel page. So you can find it and you can subscribe to it, but there's nothing there. And there's probably not going to be anything there for a really long time, because while I do want to build my own author YouTube community and channel, it's not my priority right now. My priority is writing this book that I'm working on and this series that I hope to have finished. So, and anything that's going to interfere with that, such as, recording videos, editing videos, uploading them, I'm just not going to do it. So I'm trying right now to find the fine line between being able to craft these videos and posting them. So in the interim, what I'm doing is what I would like to do in video format, I'm doing it in blog format. That's what I meant. Like if you go to my YouTube, like I said, if you go to my YouTube channel, the one where I'm streaming live, you will see right down here is the only featured channel that I'm showing. So if you were subscribed here and you were to look at like all the different kinds of videos that I already have here, you will see my featured channel is the one that there's literally one video there, but it's there. So you can go ahead and subscribe to it if you want. And then vice versa. If you go to this one and you scroll down to the bottom, the only featured channel you'll see is this one. So I already have that, and I will be promoting both of those channels somewhere on my website. I just haven't put it in there yet. But like I said, what I'm doing is in the interim videos that I would love to be making and speaking and being, and telling you this stuff as opposed to having you read it. I am doing a blog post. So right now, I'm shooting for once a week, but I've had so many ideas and so many blog posts that I've just been writing down constantly that I feel like I'm not pushing them out enough, but I don't want to have them one coming out every day because that's a bit too much, and I want to be able to give myself a bit of a buffer. But for the next month, through like probably through the end of June, I have blog posts that are already scheduled to come out. And actually what I'm going to work on right now, as well as doing this, I have to do a new YouTube video description that's different from what it has been because I'm doing different content on their live, so I need to change that. But what I'm also going to be doing is I need to do some more featured images because I've written the blog posts, I've put them up here, I've scheduled them to post, but they don't have an image like this, just this image here. So I need to put an image before it actually posts. Otherwise, people are going to just see the thing and not see an image, and that would suck. But I'm just doing so many blog posts, and if I had the time to film it and edit it and put it up, these are what would be on my YouTube channel, story writing with E.L. Drayton, but I just don't have the time. So I'm gonna have to go with the second best thing. So if you want to, keep up with it, I'm scheduling them every Wednesday and Friday. So this one came out yesterday, Wonder Draft versus Incarnate, where I am literally taking a map and I am recreating that map for the world that I'm currently writing. I'm recreating it using both programs, and then the idea is I'm going to see which program do I like the best. And that's the one I will use moving forward. So this is my first impressions from using it for the first time. Earlier this week, I wrote a blog post, and so this is what it looks like currently in each program. This is what I have, and this is what this one on the right is what I'm recreating. And so using both programs, here's what you got. I give you some, bit of information, how much it costs, that sort of thing, the pros and cons for each program, etc. And so, if I could, I would have done this as a YouTube video, but I didn't have the time. And that what I'm going to be asking people to do, if you're on my email newsletter. If you're not, you won't see this unless you're like stalking me on my website. But on June 1st, when I send my next newsletter out, I need to figure out why this page is doing this when I'm signed in, because it's really frustrating me. But anyway, it doesn't look like this for someone who goes to my website. It doesn't show up this way, but for some reason this page does this, and I don't know why. Anyway, this page is visible to everyone because I'm going to have a poll where I'm going to continue to update this to its final version to say, okay, this is how the map is, the final version is going to look. This is the one I'm going to use wherever I use it. And so people are going to get to vote on which version they like, either the Wonder Draft version or the Incarnate version. I'm not going to say that whichever one gets the most votes is the one I will end up ultimately using. I am going to use my own judgment since I'm the one literally using each program, so I know what I like and don't like, and I'm willing to, go without or whatever in each instance. But I do want to have other people's opinions, visually speaking, on which one do they think looks more pleasing to the eye based on how I was able to recreate each map. So this is just stage one. There's likely going to be 2 more stages before it's the final map, because I'm going to actually add trees and mountains and different buildings and some such stuff like that. So this is not by any means completed, but it's as close as it's going to get at the moment. Let me get out of here because this just annoys the crap out of me like no end. There is some glitch, and I think it has to do with the poll that I have there. It's glitching out the page, and I don't know why. Cool, you're on my email newsletter. So yeah, so this page is basically for my patrons. If you're a patron of mine, you get all the access. You get access to all of these things. If you're not a patron, you can see this page, but you can't actually, when you click into any of these squares, it won't give you any of the information. It will just say, this information is visible to patrons only. Become a patron and you can have access to all of this. So I'm making every aspect of this story that I'm writing available to my patrons. Literally everything. Anything that is here in my Scrivener file will be transferred here onto the website and will be visible by all my patrons. And once a month, I'm going to let them know, hey, I just added 10 new chapters to, Act 2 or whatever the case may be. And then they can just go right to my website. They would just have to be signed into their Patreon account, so that way my site will be able to connect the dots and say, yes, you're a patron, and it will show you whatever's in there. So if I click in here, I'm going to get to see it because I'm signed in as an admin. But if you're not a patron and you went to my website, you would not see anything here but language stipulating that you have to be a patron, and then there'll be a button there to be a patron. And like I said, eventually I am going to somewhere on my site put the fact that I have these 2 separate YouTube channels. I'm just not at that stage yet. Because what's most important to me right now is just writing these stories, not and writing these blog posts, and not really YouTube itself. But here's like my first page. Again, you being on my newsletter, you'll see this, but on my newsletter, I will announce officially that I am looking for beta readers for this first book that I start writing in a couple of weeks. If you were to come here now, like to my homepage, eldrayton.com, you won't be able to actually fill in the form because there's 3 weeks, 4 days, 19 hours. This is counting down to when the application will open. So, the application will open after this countdown ends, and then it's basically on the day that you'll get my newsletter, and then you can come here. If you want to be a beta reader, you don't have to be. And it's a long questionnaire that I put together to find out from people so that they can join the Stonehaven team, which I'm excited about because I'm also going to be eventually looking for alpha readers and for gamma readers. So I'm really excited about the opportunity that it will open up for me and for, other readers and lovers of fantasy in and of itself. Not sure if you're familiar with what alpha and gamma readers are, but if you're not interested in being a beta reader, but you're interested in being an alpha or a gamma, stay tuned, because probably by the end of this year and early next year, I may be looking to have gamma readers for the first book, and then bringing on a team of alpha readers for the second book forward. It's not, I don't have enough time to get alpha readers for the first book, because I'm going to be starting the first book in a couple of weeks, so that's just not enough time to vet people for that at this present time. Let me go to Spark so that I can do some featured image stuff. Also, do I have a... I need to get a better place for where I'm listing out blog posts. It's like I have it in 3 different places, and that's not good. Thank you, fan fictionaire guy, and welcome to the channel. I usually have a place where I keep a list of blog posts that I want to write. And I'm wondering if I have that list here. Let's see. I think these are the posts themselves, yeah. Let's back up. What is this? Are these ones I've written already, or are these ones I plan on writing? I think these are ones I have not written yet. Holy smokes. Well, gamma readers are people, and not many people use them, which is a shame. And I actually have a blog post coming out um, fairly soon. Let me see if I can see when that one is going to come out. Because I actually just wrote it earlier this week on what each is, why you would use them, and when you should use them. So it's basically just an instructional on how to and where to find them and what kind of person they should be to best help you. Let's see. Alpha, beta, gamma readers, May 19th. So it's actually 13. So 2 weeks from now. Like I said, I have blog posts that are scheduled far in advance, unfortunately. And unless I decided to like release a blog post every other day, that's just the way it is. So it's in the rotation, just not coming out yet. But in any event, a gamma reader is someone who reads your work when you think you have the final draft. So you assume, you're like, I've got the final draft, I'm ready now to upload this and set it for pre-order on Amazon, right? So you would go to Amazon, and this is what I recommend, because I know people will do this. They'll say they've got the final draft and they'll think, well, I'll just put it up for sale tomorrow. No, you have the final draft, you set it for pre-sale for at least 4 to 6 months after you believe you have the final draft. And so what you do is, in those 4 to 6 months, you find gamma readers, and they are the people who will read your work and find the typos that you missed, because everyone misses them. You think that your editor spotted them. You think you must have spotted them. You read it through 10 times. You had 5 different editors go through it. You had your alpha readers, your beta readers. You ran it through your beta readers twice, maybe, group A and group B. There is no way there's a typo. I guarantee you there's a typo. So your gamma readers, literally their whole purpose is to just read it. And if they find that they think a comma's missing, an apostrophe, you wrote it plural and it should have been singular, you put a name in lowercase and it should have been there should have been a capital letter, there should be a period there and there isn't, this paragraph should have been indented and it's not, whatever. Any formatting structure, they're not looking at it from the point of view of a beta reader, because a beta reader is actually going to tell you if the story is flowing, if something's not working for them, if this fight scene is too weak. Think of a beta reader as a developmental editor. That's not what a gamma reader is. A gamma reader is more like a proofreader, or even a line editor, or even like a copy editor, where they're literally just looking at the copy that's in front of them and they're reading it in search of typos. And you can have as many gamma readers as you want, which is why there's a different stage and a different number and a different kind of person that you want for each. So for me, an alpha reader, I would only want 1 or 2, because an alpha reader is looking at your vomit draft that's a piece of crap garbage. So you don't want too many cooks in that kitchen, because you already know that it's absolute garbage, right? So why would you want to have a team of like 6 or 7 going through the trash? Not necessary. So for alpha readers, you only need 1 or 2. For beta readers, I would suggest 5, no more than 5, really 3. 3 to 5 must be an odd number, shouldn't be more than 5, again, because do you really want to have to cobble together the notes from more than 5 people? That's a lot. You would lose your mind. You don't want to do it. And you also don't want to be sitting around twiddling your thumbs waiting for 9 or 11 or 12 beta readers to get you back their notes, because the last thing you want to do is adhere to the notes of the readers that you got, because you don't want to sit around and wait and you've got them, and then you get notes from everybody else and they contradict the ones that you just actioned. So with beta readers, you have to wait till you get them all in. You have to put them all organized and together, and then you have to knock them out one by one. And if you don't do it that way, you're making more work for yourself. Gamma readers, as many as you want, doesn't matter. You want 50 gamma readers, go for broke. But I wouldn't do 50 gamma readers, because then you're going to be sitting around again waiting and hoping that you can get, the thumbs up from 50 people during those 4 to 6 months that you set the pre-order. So I would say no more than 20, maybe a dozen or so if you can. And the incentive for a gamma reader would be that they're literally getting your final draft, right? But at the same time, they're also helping you to find the typos that you didn't find yourself, and your editor may have missed, just because it's the nature of humanity. You are going to miss something. Your brain is going to automatically correct it and put that comma there that never was there to begin with. So that is really what a gamma reader is. And I actually learned what that is from a hybrid author, because he asks for gamma readers all the time, in every single one of the books that he's ever written. And so that was when I decided to look into, like, what is this gamma reader business, and why don't more indie authors use them? Why don't we have alpha readers and gamma readers? Because in many ways they would be just as helpful, or even more helpful, than using Grammarly or any other service like that. So we might as well know what it is and use it. But yeah, all that information that I just gave to you is going to be in that blog post. Unfortunately, it's not coming out till May 19th. So there's that. But that's basically like what most of my blog posts are about. And I wanted to add, I can't believe I have a list of like 49 blog posts, and I don't think I've written any of these. So I have been writing a list for myself. That's crazy to me. Anyway, so I want to compare Atticus with what's it called? With Vellum. Compare Atticus, not with, to Vellum and Scrivener. And then one more is, can Atticus replace there's this new program, I don't know if you've heard of it, that's called Atticus. It's coming out soon. For people who wanted to know about it, we were just notified today about when it's going to be released for us, to get in on the ground floor. And so one of the blog posts, I want to make sure, I'm actually probably going to bump unfortunately it might be the alpha, beta, gamma one, depending on what day of the week that falls on. But I'm probably going to bump something so that I can post about this Atticus program when it releases for the rest of us, or for us on the ground floor, because it's claiming to crush two key programs that a lot of indie authors use: Vellum and Scrivener. And so if one program can take the place, or can do what both of those programs do separately in one place, that's a pretty big deal. So I want to make sure the 19th is a Wednesday, so I will post that on the 21st then. I will not need to bump that one. I will put this on 5. I need to make sure that I make a note to myself that I have to write this and have it release on the 21st, that Friday. Do I have something scheduled for that day that I can move right now? It looks like I don't. Let me just confirm that. How do I not have something? I have something for the 28th, but I don't have something. That's weird, bro. How did I jump from the 19th to maybe because I was doing every week. Yeah, that's what happened. So if I do that on the 21st and the 28th, I would have to put a blog post in the 26th. I think this might be too soon to put it on the 26th. I'd have to, let me do it somewhere in June so I could give myself a shot to use it. And depending on how fast and how quickly I'm writing the story, in June I might use Atticus as a test, because May 24th is when I am intending to begin writing this book, if not sooner. We'll see. So this program being made available to certain people on the 17th is almost like a message to me saying, hey, why don't you try using this instead of Scrivener, which would suck because I just learned how to use Scrivener. Like, it took me forever to tame the wild beast, and I just learned how to use it. I even went so far as to rearrange the icons at the top to icons that I would actually use and that I would actually find relevant, because Scrivener is just very intimidating in the icon choices. But again, if Atticus turns out to be a program where I won't have to use Vellum and I won't have to use Scrivener, and I can get everything, I can do what I do in Scrivener in Atticus, and then I can export what I would normally do with Vellum in Atticus, that would be great. And I believe this is a program unlike Vellum, which is going to be available on both Mac, PC, and I think Linux. I think it's going to be available across anything, which will be awesome as well. So, awesome things all around. So in 11 days, I'm going to purchase and use said program. Because it's what I do. Alright, going back. I don't think I did that one. I did an image for this one. I did not do an image for common misconceptions about streaming your writing, and this one, I think this one is the one I was working on before I ended up switching gears. So yeah, it's right here. So let's do this one. Let's do this one. I'm glad you got something out of the information about alpha, beta, gamma readers. It can be overwhelming sometimes if you take it all in at once, which is another reason why I really want to do a YouTube video thing to help people, because I feel like with the blog you're kind of thrown all of these blog posts and you feel like you have to action all of them holistically together at one chunk. But in reality, all of these things that I put in my blog posts happen over a long stretch of time. Like, I'm not going to be looking for alpha readers, beta readers, and gamma readers all on the same day in the same month. You know what I mean? Like, alpha readers are something that you get during your research stage. So you would look for alpha readers, you would include them in your research and world building, and they're the kind of, those are people that you want to be, in constant communication with. And then you've got your beta readers who you would get, way after you've done your vomit draft and you've edited it twice using the assistance of your, alpha readers. And then way after that, after you've again edited it twice because you've had editors go through it, you've gone through it yourself, you've actioned the beta reader comments. So 3-4 months later, you're now looking for gamma readers, and those are more fan-based readers than, readers who you actually need actionable information from. Your alpha and beta are the ones who are actually going to help you with the meat and potatoes and help you with character development and help you with, you know, really important crafting things. Your gamma reader, they're literally there because they want to read your work and be able to say they read it before everybody else. But they are there also as a pair of eyes that are different from yours to find simple typos. You're not going to give them a field of questions to say, what did you think about Jim? And how did you feel about that fight scene in chapter 10? No, that's not what they're there for. That will have already been ironed out. Literally, the only instruction you would give a gamma reader is if you find a typo, email it to me. The end. And that's it. So, you know, and like I said, like you would be finding all of these kinds of different people, and gamma readers, you wouldn't keep track of who they are. You could care less because gamma readers can come and go. They're not important. So you may find yourself with a different, you know, 10 gamma readers for each book. Whereas your alpha and your beta readers, you want them, if you're writing a series, to stick with you through the whole series. Which I also mentioned in the blog post that I wrote, because you don't want to have a 6-book series, a duology, a trilogy, and you don't want to be introducing a beta reader on book 2 and 3. You want to make sure you've got someone who's been there from the beginning. I am not a fan. I am writing a blog post, and I'm trying to figure out a way to write it in a way that doesn't come off as in a negative light, because I understand the need for them. I understand why we use them. I personally didn't. Everything that I did here is literally something that I probably could have recreated and done on World Anvil or Campfire, but I literally just did it all within the same document. And that's, I think, why I like it. I understand that World Anvil, and I think even Campfire, give you the ability to write your manuscript within the program. But I think it's got too much flash, razzmatazz. It's an invitation to go down a wormhole that you really shouldn't be going down, because while it does give you the opportunity to write your manuscript within the program, that's not its main goal. Its main goal in both instances is to help you build your world. And so you will easily find yourself stuck and it really wasting time building your world and not writing the words, right? So that's why because I have a World Anvil account, and I don't have a Campfire account because I didn't want to, because I already saw the writing on the wall. But with World Anvil, I was world building 95% of the time. And I never used the manuscript feature on that website. Never. I know it existed. It's buried deep, so it's not like right in your face to say you should be writing the manuscript and not building the world. No, it's geared towards doing family trees and connecting relationships and, you know, figuring out creatures and locations and smells and clothing and weaponry. You could end up down a rabbit hole that you will never come out of with something like World Anvil, whereas that's not what I'm looking for. It's, to me, it's more like a D&D type of situation than a, you know, let's write a novel, right? And I realize I don't even need my headset because I'm not listening to anything. Let me close this. Let me close this as well. Yeah, don't use them. If you're thinking about using them, honestly, everything you can do there, you can easily and with less distraction do it here, which is what I did. You know, I've got my outlines here. I've got social structure stuff here. This is what I'm going to be working on in next week. Actually, I'm going to be working on the trials, which is specific to my story. But right here are my characters. Like, I know it could probably look cooler. It could, and also I feel like in both instances, World Anvil is almost like a Wikipedia for authors. So I agree with you. It's something that you should use after you finish writing, because it's more, it's like a Wikipedia, but it's a cooler way to, because Wikipedia is just, it's just black and white ink on the page. But instead of sending your, your fan base to your Wikipedia page for your universe, send them to your World Anvil page, where it's going to have all the colors, and it's going to represent each character in a cool way, and it's going to formulate it to look like a family tree, and it's going to connect things that you didn't know had connections, and let the reader go down the rabbit hole of your world that you fill in, but fill it in after you've done all this that I've done. Like, I now would not mind if after I wrote all 4 books, I would go back, go into World Anvil, take my character sheets, and now just literally either import or copy paste the information that I went through the trouble of doing in Scrivener and put it in World Anvil. But I'm not going to put the information in World Anvil and then think naively that I am now going to have World Anvil open on one side, Scrivener open on the other side, and I'm just going to start writing. No, because World Anvil is pretty, and it's cool, and it's a great gateway drug into making sure that you don't write your story. So, as much as it's the same way I feel about For the Words. Yes, it's a cool tool to get you to write, and it uses the aspect of gameplay to do it. So you defeat these creatures and you do all these things based on how many words you write. But at the end of the day, I feel like it's too much of a distraction. When you write, you need a blank canvas, similar to what Scrivener presents here. You need something that's not going to be flashy and cool looking and be like that little nut on the corner and you become the squirrel and you're distracted and you're like, oh, look at that over there. Oh, what does this button do? Oh, what does that feature do? Oh, I didn't know that feature did that. Let me now tinker in that for 3 hours. You know what I mean? So I love world building. I love the research that I did here. I learned so much, forcing myself to take 3 weeks. I took 3 weeks, maybe a month, to do everything that I did in this research tab, to investigate goblins and pixies and do research on skinwalkers and wildebeests, and I'm eventually going to introduce wendigos into my story as well, but probably not till book 3 or 4. And so all of this research, I'm so glad that I did it, because I learned so much about my characters and about the world that they live in. I did all of these locations and I answered all of these questions about each place. But I'm done now. And now I'm ready to start writing. And I feel like if I had done this in World Anvil, I would still be there in June, tinkering and messing around with World Anvil. And I will not have finished or even started or even thought about doing this. And I could be wrong, but I don't even think World Anvil has a place to construct an outline if you are an outliner. Again, I think it's almost like saying that you want to be a YouTube author streaming personality exclusively on Twitch, which is obviously and clearly a gaming community. That's probably not the best analogy, but it's kind of like that. It's like, why would you want to force something into a program that's clearly geared towards something else? And like I said, I appreciate that they put manuscript writing in there, but it's an afterthought, and you can clearly tell by how it's in there. And I haven't looked at World Anvil in maybe the last year or two, so maybe it's not an afterthought anymore. But the last time I was in there, which I think was like 2019, probably mid 2020, because I remember I went down a rabbit hole with this magicianry novel series that I wanted to write, and instead of writing one word, I ended up literally creating like 4 different family trees that went back hundreds of years. Okay, case in point here. And I realized very quickly World Anvil was not the place for me because I wanted to write the story and I wasn't. And at that time, their manuscript thing was kind of like a subsection. And I don't even think the manuscript feature was a free feature. I think you had to pay at a certain level in order to even access the ability to have a certain number of like chapters or a certain use up a certain bandwidth of manuscript. I don't even know. It's just too complicated. And I think lastly, I'm not a fan of doing things online. I don't want to have to go to a website um, to do my work because I am terrified of losing it. And so I know a lot of people actually prefer that because they're like, oh, well, it's in the cloud and it's going to automatically save. When For the Words came out, and this is, not their fault, it was in beta, so it was very glitchy, and I attempted using it. I lost a lot of work because it didn't save it. It said it auto-saved it. It didn't. It was the only place where I had written work, and it was gone, right? And so I don't like that. I want to be able to open a actual program on my actual computer, write the actual work, and designate where it actually is saved. Like, I don't want to go into my Google Drive online, write it on there, and trust that Google, being who they are, is and always will be awake and available and will not lose my stuff. No. Not doing it, not doing it, not doing it. You know what I mean? So I like that Scrivener is its own program. You know, does a part of me in a small way wish that there was, some Scrivener.com where it was a replication of this, so that if I was on the move somewhere and I didn't have access to my actual computer, but I had access to this other computer so I could easily do these things? Maybe. But we're living in pandemic times now. Where am I going? Where I don't have my laptop with me? Nowhere. Do I wish that I could sync Scrivener on something other than Dropbox? Yes. And I hope that they eventually get out of this Dropbox mentality and allow us to decide which cloud feature we want to use to sync with, because syncing with Dropbox I think is outrageous considering it's the only reason why I have a Dropbox account. I would rather sync with OneDrive, where I have a 1 terabyte account, or even with Google Drive where I have the 100 gigabyte account. Either one will do. I don't like that I have to have this free version of Dropbox on my computer because I'm not able to sync it anywhere else. I mean, that's kind of asinine, but that's my own gripe with the program. Okay. Oh, I think I already took the screenshot actually. This is how long ago I was working on this. Yeah, it is a monthly subscription. And everyone's got the monthly subscription model. I can't really dock them for that. It's not like they're the only ones doing it type of situation. Everyone now who's got something to give and something to sell, they're going to do either monthly or yearly. That's just the nature of how we live now. And it's the only way anyone who has created something can feasibly make money. It's how I intend to do it eventually. My goal after I do the YouTube channel is I'm going to actually have a sort of a masterclass where I am going to then take the little tips and tricks and things that I put on shorter YouTube videos, make longer ones, and make them like an entire lesson. Sort of like a, how to write a novel in 90 days, taking you literally from step 1 to step 12, and then guiding you step by step with worksheets and all of these things. I'm going to put all of that together into a much longer thing, and then I'm going to package it and I'm going to sell it. And I'm going to have a monthly model, or I'm going to have a yearly model, and there will be there will be a dedicated Facebook group where there will be a group of us, and everyone who's in the class will get to meet with me and have exclusive access to me to ask me questions and stuff. So I'm thinking far ahead. But again, I have to use the monthly or yearly model, or everything that I do will be for nothing. And they all they all will have their pros and cons, which is why if I see a program that is saying or claiming that they can, do away with these two things in order to use this one, I'm willing to give it a whirl. I'm willing to check it out. I'm willing to get, I'm not as willing to pay for it sometimes. Sometimes I will hold back my money and say, I need to see a free version of this first before I, dole out the dough. And in many ways, I bought Vellum because I didn't want to have to learn how to use Scrivener to compile an ebook file. And guess what? I know how to compile an ebook file now using Scrivener. Do I feel that was a $200 waste of my money? Not really, because I'm not likely to use the compile feature on Scrivener to create an EPUB file. I much rather let Vellum do it because it's always going to be clean. It's always going to look good. And it's a freaking EPUB file. I mean, honestly. So I'm more interested in the fact that I know how to use the compile feature to get a PDF out of there so that I can upload it into Amazon very quickly. Like, that's the one that matters to me, and that's the one that I'm going to go with. Because it cuts out using InDesign. Which, again, amen. If I don't have to use InDesign like I usually do, I am all for it. So if this other program that I'm going to be testing out in like a week and a half claims that it's going to be better than Scrivener and it's going to do what Vellum does for me, and it's all going to be in one place, in one program, I can do my research, I can have my chapters separated, I can do all that fancy stuff, and it's going to be in one place, one price, and all upgrades afterwards are going to be free. Sign me up. Sign me up. Where is the image that I know I took a screenshot of? Oh wait, screenshots are on my desktop. That's why I don't see it. Because screenshots are on my desktop. Oh no, I didn't. It's not a screenshot. Okay, let's come back here. It must be an actual image. There it is. There it is. Okay, so let's add a photo from my downloads, and it's right there. I'm gonna want to put it behind, but let me just open it up first. There we go. And it's not stretched enough. That's better. That's not really what I want. Maybe. Okay. I think this is what I want. Yeah. this. And then rotate it. Oh, here's the rotating button. To right about there. And I'm gonna change the color to something here. Perfect. Oh yeah. And then I'm gonna add this one. No, this one. Too big though. And I'm gonna put the same color. Oh no, zoom out, zoom in. Okay, let's zoom back out. It's too zoomed in. And can I... That might actually be too in the way. Let's try this one. Okay, I think we'll go with this one. And then I'm gonna take this background. Lordy. And I'm gonna add some text, which is what exactly? Alright, I'm gonna do this and then I'm gonna go get lunch because I'm starving. I am starving. Is that letting? Actually, let's stack them all. Like that. And then let's bring them out, bring them out. Come on. Bring them out, bring them out. Not a fan. God in heaven. I just want something simple yet yeah, that's fine. I don't need anything too crazy. That is big. Hold on one second. Is that too big? Probably not, because I can actually... Yeah, that's fine. I just want to center it. There we go. Yeah, I'm cool. cool with that. And I will just download that. And beautiful. Alright, so I'm going to add this to this post and then call it a day. Yeah, I'm starving here. I'm actually having a chicken salad sandwich with a pickle. Probably two. I love pickles. So I am very excited. I've got a pickle waiting for me and a chicken salad sandwich on a 15 grain bread. Nummy. Alright, set this featured image. Boop, 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 boop. Let's reschedule it. Let's view it. There we go. And here's my blog post on outlining versus discovery writing. A nice 5-minute read. The thingy is not right. Let me fix that. I think it's supposed to be 75. If memory serves me correctly. Alright, let's try that again. Yep, there we go. Perfect. Alright, sweet. Well, that's it for me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna go get some food. I'm also gonna work on my YouTube video description downstairs with the rest of my day, because I'm not coming back up here again. No, sir. I'm coming down. On my way. Alright, I was here for almost 3 hours. Not bad. I had a few dropped frames. Holy Moses. Yes, you do as well. And to everyone who was just hanging out lurking, thank you for hanging out and for lurking. And I will hopefully be back tomorrow. It depends on when my bookcases are going to be delivered. I've got bookcases coming, 16 of them, and they're coming tomorrow. I'm waiting for a phone call actually today to be told the exact delivery window. So yeah, as long as it's not in the daytime, which I doubt, then I will be streaming tomorrow morning. But if it is, then I likely won't be, because I need to supervise where these damn things are going. Otherwise, you will likely see me again on Monday, because I'm going to be painting this weekend. So painting my office. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, depending on how quick paint dries and how fast I can get the odor out of my office, I will be back in my actual real office sometime next week. I'm at least going to try to move my desk in there as soon as possible, so I can stream from my office again, because I've been in another room temporarily while we laid the floors, and we finished laying the floors. Now the next step is to paint. I've got bookcases coming, so I'm hoping that I have enough strength to bring some bookcases upstairs so that I can build some that are going to go in my office. The rest are going in my library on the other side of the house, which I'm excited about. But hopefully I'll be back in my office within like the next week or so with bookcases and stuff. But yeah, in the meantime, you might not see me tomorrow, you might not see me Saturday, but you'll definitely see me. You may not see me on Monday, because that's my wedding anniversary, so we'll see. Maybe Tuesday. Maybe I'll be back on Tuesday. But yeah, otherwise,